George Bryan, founder of Bryan Steam Corporation, got his start as an engine wiper on the Santa Fe Railroad and quickly worked his way up to inspector for the railway. George had a vision of using steam power for improving farming procedures and for transportation, and had the ability to make his vision a reality. George's fascination for steam led him to build a steam-powered automobile. After driving it over 10,000 miles through the deserts and mountains of New Mexico, he was satisfied that his vision of steam-powered vehicles was practical and achievable. The concept of a flexible, bent water tube that could absorb both physical and thermal shock and still be serviceable by the average person was considered radical by many. His pioneering spirit and determination led him to push forward and develop the world's first practical light steam tractor. This radical boiler design was used to power the Bryan tractor, the Bryan automobile, and the Bryan steam truck. Starting as a New Mexico company, the Bryans decided to move to a location central to the agriculture market and selected Peru, Indiana. The relocation was completed in 1919, and Peru has been home to the Bryan factory since that time. With the evolution of the internal combustion engine, trends in locomotion began to change. George Bryan reasoned that the same unique boiler features that were responsible for the success of his tractors could offer the same performance and service to homeowners and small businesses. The company that started as the Bryan Harvester Company became the Bryan Copper Tube Boiler Company. Over the next half-century, boiler sizes increased, designs were improved, and what is now the Bryan Steam Corporation entered into the commercial and light industrial market. Today, Bryan Steam is recognized as the leading manufacturer of flexible water tube boilers in the world. There have been many attempts at copying the Bryan tube design, but no one's been able to equal it for performance and serviceability. Today, the Bryan factory encompasses nearly 200,000 square feet. Increased business has necessitated expansion of the facility on an almost yearly basis. Our latest 18,000 square foot addition will allow improved flow patterns and streamline our shipping process. When an order form is received, it's reviewed to be certain that all the necessary information has been included. A work order number is assigned to allow tracking of the boiler. The order file is then taken to our processing department, where any items requiring special consideration can be handled. Components that must be obtained from an outside source are placed on order at this time. The file then goes to the engineering and drafting departments. Preliminary information pertinent to the construction of the pressure vessel is sent to the production manager. This enables construction of the vessel to begin in a timely manner. The necessary drawings and wiring diagrams are generated. The actual equipment list is prepared and reviewed. Submittals are then prepared and copies forwarded to the appropriate persons. Detailed information is sent to the production department. Should the engineer or customer desire any revisions after reviewing the submittals, this can be quickly handled. The heart of the Bryan boiler is the flexible bent water tube. The material used in making the tubes is mandated by the standards of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. Every tube must comply with ASME material grades and must have the appropriate mill tests and certifications to verify that information. Likewise, all raw materials used in the manufacturing of boiler vessels must meet the code requirements and have documentation to assure it before it can be accepted for use. One or more of our Bryan inspectors will oversee this process. All must be in order or the shipment will be rejected. These mill test reports and certification will be reviewed and confirmed by a third-party inspector. This authorized inspector is in the employ of our product liability carrier and must be certified by the National Board of Pressure Vessel Inspectors. The boiler tubes are formed on state-of-the-art computer-controlled benders. The tapered tube fittings are applied and welded to the bent tubes by an automated 360-degree welding machine. Although there is latitude within the ASME code that will allow the use of lesser wall thickness, we feel that in the interest of maintaining our standards, heavier gauge tubing is preferable. Although the cost is higher, so is the quality of the product. George Bryan's flexible and easily removable boiler tube allows you to change the heart of the boiler by simply replacing it. Using only hand tools, your service personnel can change a boiler tube should it become necessary. As there are never more than 2 tube configurations in any Bryan boiler, stocking spare tubes is an inexpensive and simple option. Precision preparation of the raw material by skilled craftsmen is the foundation of the pressure vessel. The cutting, drilling, reaming, fitting, and welding under the eyes of quality control staff all come together at the hydrotest areas. The tubes, the heart of the boiler, are installed. The completed vessel is pressure tested and approved by the authorized inspector. The tested and approved vessels are then moved to an assembly area where the flue collectors, insulation, and outer jackets are installed. Once the jackets are in place, the boiler is painted in our modern paint booth and is now ready for final trim. The boilers are trimmed out per their individual requirements. Burner assemblies are installed. Low water cutoffs and combustion controls are installed and wired. Bryan's quality control staff inspects and tests the completed boilers before giving approval for shipment. Many models of the Bryan boilers are available in what we call knockdown construction. In instances where it's necessary to replace an existing boiler, these models can be disassembled, moved through tight passages, then reassembled. These units are designed so that no ASME certified code welding is required. The customer has the option of using a steel boiler instead of cast iron for his retrofit situation, where only standard width doors are available for access. In addition to boilers, Bryan manufactures a full line of boiler room accessory products. Such items as de-aerators, boiler feed systems, lead lag panels, exhaust heads, blowdown separators, air separators, and overflow traps offer the customer a complete boiler room from a single manufacturer. This single source of products makes solving your boiler room problems a simple matter. Bryan de-aerators range from our low-profile unit for limited space areas to the large separable tank designs, all capable of reducing the oxygen content in the boiler water to no more than 0.005 cc's per liter. Bryan exhaust heads provide a means of trapping oil and water particles entrained in exhausted steam rather than having them expelled into the environment. Bryan blowdown separators vent off pressure from blowdown water and cools it to an acceptable temperature before draining to the outside. Bryan electric boilers offer a pollution-free alternative to burning fossil fuels. Components of the electric boilers can be integrated into a fossil fuel unit. This will allow taking advantage of the most cost-effective fuel source available during a given time period. With the environmental concerns in today's world, many states and municipalities, as well as the federal government, have enacted regulations regarding emissions of nitrogen and sulfur oxides into the air. Bryan boilers can be equipped to meet those standards. No company sells more flexible steel water tube boilers than Bryan Steam Corporation. Bryan was the originator of this type boiler and has been instrumental in its continuing development. Bryan boilers are easier to install and maintain, perform better, and last longer. Statistics show Bryan flexible steel water tube boilers are the top choice of leading engineers, architects, and mechanical contractors. After years of providing the finest boilers to the HVAC industry, Bryan's manufacturing capabilities and quality assurance are second to none. Bryan continues to combine the advantages of past experience with advanced technology, moving into the future as the leader in the design, manufacture, and application of the flexible steel water tube boiler.